Dharma Bites is brought to you by Free Buddhist Audio, the Dharma for your life. Our work is funded entirely by donations from our generous listeners. If you would like to help us keep this free, make a contribution at freebuddhistaudio.com/donate. Thank you, and happy listening.
If we go further along in the history of Buddhism, if we look at the Japanese tradition, Japanese Buddhist tradition, we'll find that interwoven with it, in so many places, there is this very beautiful analogue of the finger pointing to the moon. You use the finger to indicate the moon, but you pass from the finger to the moon. You don't mistake the finger for the moon. So in the same way, you pass from a religious teaching, from a religious practice, to enlightenment, to spiritual experience. You don't remain stuck, as it were, with that teaching, with that doctrine, with that practice, with that method, hanging on to it, hugging it, as it were, and think that you've got religion there. No, one sees the moon, and one uses the finger to find the position, the place of the moon in the heavens. So in all these various ways, in the parable of the rod, in the advice to Mahaprajapati Gautami, in this analogue of the finger and the moon, Buddhism makes it so clear that all its great teachings, its doctrines, its philosophies, its practices have one aim and one end only, and that is enlightenment. All are means through that great end. We might say, perhaps, that Buddhism takes greater precautions against the possibility of its followers mistaking the finger for the moon than any other teaching, than any other tradition. We don't read, so far as I know, that Christ ever said to his disciples, "Be careful that you don't take my words too literally." We don't read that Muhammad, for instance, ever said to his followers, that he ever warned his followers that when I speak about the delights of heaven and so on, I'm not to be taken too literally. This is just to help you on your way. We don't read that in the case of either Christianity or Islam, these warnings were ever given. But certainly in the Buddhist tradition, the Buddhist teaching, and in the Hindu tradition and Hindu teaching also to some extent, this is insisted upon again and again and again. Because human nature is such that we always tend to cling on to that which is an end and treat it as, and that which is the means and treat it as though it was the end itself, especially in matters of religion. In this respect, it's very instructive to notice, as I pointed out before to some of you, that the third of the 10 fetters by which we're fettered, bound down to conditioned existence, according to the Buddha's teaching, is what is called Sila Vrata Paramarsha. Now, this is a Sanskrit expression which simply means Sila is ethics, moral rules, Vrata is religious observances, Paramarsha is clinging or attachment. So clinging or attachment to ethical rules and religious observances is, according to Buddhism, a fetter. Not that these observances, not that these practices are wrong in any way, but the clinging to them constitutes a fetter. In other words, this represents, we may say, conventional religiosity. Conventional religiosity is a hindrance to enlightenment. This is a very hard truth for many people to swallow. This is perhaps the main point of Krishnamurti's teaching. I don't personally agree with everything that Krishnamurti says. I think he goes far too far in some directions. But this which he says is certainly valid, that too many people have become bogged down, too many religious people have become bogged down in religion itself, but treating it not as a means to an end, enlightenment or any other end, but as an end in itself. There's no need to multiply examples. So far as the religious life of this country is concerned, well, we can find examples enough all around us.
We hope you enjoyed today's Dharma Bite. Please help us keep this free. Make a contribution at freebuddhistaudio.com/donate. And thank you.